All right, Mateo, let's end it on this, and I'm gonna put you on blast here. Not big blast. Don't worry, you're
No, it's
good.
cool. Go for it. I don't care.
Can we talk Facebook real quick and Oculus in the market? And not in the sense I've watched anyone who hasn't watched Mateo's videos on this subject, like they come from a place of honesty. Like there's no incentive. He's not going negative for clicks or he's not going positive for clicks. Like it's honestly just his thoughts, and that's why I want to ask him this question because I have been guilty. Like I've made literally a video before I kind of changed topics right before my kid was born. Made an entire video on how I don't want to cover Oculus news anymore because I'm really upset with like how they are dominating the market, what they're doing. I don't believe in it. That might be true. But as I'm in VR more and more, I'm softening. Like they're beating me down and I really am
You have
softening.
to. Listen, if you're covering VR, you have to cover Facebook. End of story.
It's true. And I am definitely softening. But what I'm looking for now is instead of this is what I'm unhappy about, I'm looking into what's making me happy. Because that's the only way you keep saying this. So when it comes to Facebook and Oculus, what's making you right now a believer that this could be turned around, that this is the right way to go, that this is a good thing, and that these are Facebook's taking us to the promised land? Like, what's the scenario?
So, I mean, maybe it's slightly pessimistic, but how I see some like light at the end of the tunnel is Facebook is too invested at this point. We've talked about their, multi-billion-dollar loss every single year. They know the potential of this technology. They want to own it. And they're not giving up anytime soon.
No.
So we won't see them pull an HTC on us.
Yeah, you gotta explain. Yeah, no.
They won't pull out of the consumer market. It's profitable for them, to a degree. Where they're spending all their money is research and development and buying all these companies, all these studios that they've been buying. That's where their money is going in. It's all an investment. They have smart people, working. They've made great strides on like obviously making it mainstream and just doing a lot with a little, because we know the Quest hardware is not great.
No,
so they've done a lot with a little.
It's a cell phone, guys. It's a cell phone.
Yes, yes. So the fact that they're highly invested, I think, is actually beneficial for us. It means it's not going anywhere. And I think, like, some of the Facebook hate out there is going to open the door for another big player when they're ready. Like, listen, Microsoft will get into VR when it's mainstream. That's how Microsoft rolls. Like, Microsoft and sometimes they succeed and sometimes they fail. They were the last one in the console wars, basically. They were the last one for cell phones. There they failed. And then when it came, same thing with like Zune. They failed there. But a technology like this, there's also a lot of backing for the Xbox. So I think they will eventually get into VR, and they own some great studios and they can do some good stuff. And then that hate is going to push these companies, and someone like Valve, I think, feels like Facebook has taken their baby, because they were all about VR. They loved VR. They were pushing VR. And they were working with Oculus before Facebook bought them. And then they had to, partner with HTC. So I think Valve wants to go, listen, okay, that's great. You have your fun Quest over there, but this is the way VR should be. And they'll drop some more like Half-Life Alyx style content on us.
Yeah.
Because I think they like doing stuff they like doing. Like they like doing stuff that they think will be cool, like Half-Life Alyx. I mean, the company is definitely not close to as big as Facebook. I think they're worth 10 billion, and Facebook just hit $1 trillion.
Well, it's like when I say I'm softening, like I'm with you fully. Like goddamn, man, it's so hard to explain. Like I look at, like, let's just look at Facebook. The platform, like Facebook itself, not the company, like the actual social media Facebook. Like,
okay.
I only got into it. My Facebook profile, which I don't really use at all, was made by my sister when I got to college. She's like, you have to have one, which she was kind of right. You have to have one. And I've looked at what it's done to like my friend's mental health, to my mental health ever since I got into it. I don't particularly buy into it. I'm not a believer in that's the right way things should be. I think it does a tremendous amount of good and a tremendous amount of hurt. So I personally don't want to be like connected. Like I wear an Apple Watch right now, right? I don't mind being connected to Apple. Like something about them and their business model, and at least what my entire life has been using their products and how I feel like I've been impacted. I don't mind having them on my body and saying I represent them. I don't mind that. I personally would not want to use a Facebook branded product if I didn't have to. So that's where a lot of my like animosity has come from. I'm softening in the sense that I go, okay, just because I don't like them and I stand by it, I would rather not have Facebook branding on me. Well, why would anyone else come in the market if it wasn't proven? So I'm in the automotive industry. If there was no body shops around my area, why the hell would I get into the body shop business? But if there was a bunch of other body shops around, one massive compared to everyone else like Facebook, okay, they're making everyone buy into it. They're proving a point, and maybe I will never be as big as them, but they made the path that this is possible. So maybe someone else comes in that's more usable. Maybe Microsoft, Apple, all of them now come in because of that. That's where I'm softening. I'm not softening the stance that I want to have a Facebook headset on my headset. I don't, or my head. But I'm softening the stance that, okay, they're probably getting me closer to someone who I do want to use.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's what I was getting to in a roundabout way. They'll show off the potential of this hardware. They will do the initial legwork for other companies, and then another huge player can eventually get involved. And we've seen this with other emergent hardware for the longest time. I mean, when you go back to the Facebook account stuff too, yeah, like being affiliated with the Facebook company itself, I understand. I try to detract from that. I try to because I know at the end of the day, people will get over almost anything. Oh, they're tracking me? Oh, I don't care. You could put a chip in the back of my neck.
I'm with you. Yes.
Am I getting a cool headset for a cheap price? Whatever, they don't care.
Just like to give the metaphor point is that there is a whole generation of beings, human beings that have grown up giving up their privacy for convenience and individually have not seen any repercussions. So you can't judge them when they're okay with all this because their entire life they've given up given up privacy for convenience and have not directly had any negativity come their way. So it's understandable. So stop being an asshole. If not you, there's people who are just assholes about it. It's like, no, they've grown up their entire life giving up privacy for convenience, and it has not bitten them in the ass. So don't blame them. Let's be honest.
And listen, that the information Facebook collects on us is definitely used against us. Listen, there's no way around that. And yes, other companies do it too. I hate that argument. Everyone should be judged. Everyone should be judged on what they are personally doing. What someone else does doesn't make you more or less guilty.
Yes.
Okay. And I like to use it. If I was on trial for murder, I couldn't invoke, I couldn't say Charles Manson killed more people. So, my one murder shouldn't count. Or, what about OJ? He got off. Like stuff like that. It doesn't matter. This is my case about me.
Mm-hmm.
So that scenario I don't like. But if you watch things like Social Dilemma, you see how powerful this technology is. And then when we move into eye tracking, which I know you've been talking about lately, it gets really spooky. Yes. And it's just like, well, again, are we going to head towards this dystopian future that every sci-fi talks about where everything we do is tracked and AI knows how the right way to manipulate us? Probably. Yeah, we're probably heading there.
Probably. But it's which generation gets negatively affected by it because we progressively, I mean, I'm 31. I don't know. How old are you, man? If you don't know. We don't need to get it. 40, yeah. We have seen from dial-up to where we are now. And let's be honest, I've given up a lot of my privacy for convenience. And I have not directly seen any negative aspects of it. Now that might not, doesn't mean there isn't. But
yeah, you're just not seeing them.
I'm just not seeing them.
That's the whole thing.
So so it's we're asking people with Facebook who there are Damo on Twitter and a bunch of these other people who are the biggest anti-Facebook people in the world. And I get it, guys. I get it. I hear you. No one's disagreeing with you. I don't particularly like them, but you can't discredit the fact that there are generations after generation of millions and millions and millions of human beings who have given up tons of privacy for convenience and have not been negatively affected. If anything, they've been positively affected. So don't
I
discredit the power.
I do feel like the benefits, at least right now, outweigh the negative. But again, that's on a case by case scenario.
Yes.
Like you said, Facebook can impact your mental health, and that is completely proven. And you know, if you haven't watched the documentary, the Social Dilemma, you should, because they talk about it, how like Facebook ran a psychological experiment on its members and altered their feeds and was able to tell it had an impact on their mood. Like they were able to directly piss people off by pushing stuff into their feed they knew they didn't like. Could have been
Yes.
political or religious or whatever it was. You know, there's a hot button items for people. So they can manipulate us very easily, and they know it.
Hit that subscribe button to stay on top of the daily clips, or catch the debates and fireside chats live on the main channel down in the video description. See you next time, Space Cowboys.